closer ranks for Carlos Martinez in St. Louis, the Aussie Liam Hendricks in Oakland, and Tampa Bay was doing it by committee. It just means there's more shares for Emilio Pagan and the newly reinstated Jose Alvarado. Is it Jose Alvarado? His name's Alvarado.
Yeah, Jose Alvarado. I was gonna bring him up. He's probably further down the list, I'd imagine.
Yeah, we actually have an entire reinstatement thing. It's like there's 3 guys reinstatement from suspensions, which is an all-time record since we've been doing this since back in the 50s. 3 reinstatements. Wow, game's getting weird.
Among your position players that are facing time on the IL, Tucker Barnhart and Williams Astudillo, the catchers for the Reds and Twins, respectively, with oblique strains. Brendan Rodgers, who just got recalled last week for the Rockies, already out with a right shoulder impingement. David Freese out with a hamstring until after the All-Star break. Cameron Maben for the Yankees is now number 15 or 16. I've lost count at this point, with a left calf strain. And Gregory Polanco for the Pirates out with a left shoulder inflammation.
Yeah, he went out last Saturday after we broadcast, but he's a big enough player that it should be brought up. That actually brings time for Corey Dickerson, who's a hitter I really like. And I think that's pretty good from a baseline. But Rogers' thing isn't going to be that big a deal for Colorado because Story is going to be back sooner than later. David Freese being out for the Dodgers brings up a guy that I've brought up on a couple of occasions, never really talked about, but a guy who's a really good hitter for the Dodgers that's really overlooked, really tore up the minor leagues. It's Matt Beattie. He's a first baseman, third baseman. I think that's going to give him a little more time. He's played every game since the Freese injury, so I think it's
some Red Sox players getting ready for the Boston trip included Andrew Benintendi, who is out because he is banged up, as opposed to Brock Holt, the infielder, who is out because he's mashed up.
Well, I mean, they told us what Holt's injury was. It's a hamstring tightness. And Benintendi, the coach, just said he's banged up. I mean, basically, I think on both cases, more so on Benintendi, is they saw a situation where if they gave him a day off on Wednesday, actually Tuesday, Wednesday, they would actually have like a 3 or 4 day period before they had to play, and they could kind of get healthier again. I bet you'll see Benintendi play today in London, but then again, I could be wrong.
Other players that sat out yesterday include Sergio Romo, who had left leg tightness on Thursday, Kevin Kiermaier with right calf tightness, Hunter Renfroe, who I have to keep reminding myself I don't think is the guy who caught the game-winning catch for Clemson against Alabama.
Well, he spells that other Renfroe spells it with a W at the end instead of an E.
Okay, that's good to know. Out with an illness for the Padres. Yohan Moncada for the White Sox, out with a knee contusion. Jordan Alvarez for the Astros with left knee discomfort. Kyle Seager for the Mariners. What the bleep? I don't know why you have WTF there.
Oh, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. He was out all
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to make...
injury.
Yeah, when it's like that's consecutive dates there. He's been out since that. Kyle Seager's injury brings Tim Beckham back into the fold. Sergio Romo's a closer. We always like to say who the closer in waiting is. It's Miami, so there's not a lot of opportunities. I think the most talented guy is Tyron Guerrero. It could be Nick Anderson. I actually just don't know. That's a wait-and-see situation. And it might be a 6-day wait before the next safe situation in Miami.
And finally, the better Chris Davis out with a swollen left hand after being hit by a pitch.
Any inside information out there, Steve, on Chris Davis being healthy eventually?
It seems like a rough year for him. He seems to be out repeatedly, but I think that he'll probably be back by tomorrow. It didn't seem like it was too bad.
I was wondering if there's any scuttlebutt that I don't hear. You get more local stuff. Continue on, Brendan.
It just went out on me. So if I lose the sheet, I'm just going to be making stuff up. The Rays are now moving wholesale to Montreal, and they are now officially the Montreal Rays. You heard it here first on the Dugout.
You try to find the sheet. Now I'll go through it. Or can you do it?
I got it. The Dugout general outlined. Cole Hamels left in this after the second inning with an oblique injury. As well as Daniel Norris being out with a groin cramp and finger issue.
I don't know how those two are related, but I don't want to think about it.
I don't want to know. I do not. Marcell Ozuna, the outfielder for the Cardinals, with a 2 fingers injury. Chris Archer with a precautionary left leg discomfort, and Rougned Odor left in the 9th inning in the Rangers, just to celebrate the 3rd anniversary of his knocking out Jose Bautista on the infield.
Rugi getting out means there's more time for Danny Santana, who's in a bit of a hot streak. I think with Hamels went right to the DL, like they already DL'd him. With Alzolay up, I think that means Alzolay gets at least a start or 2 more, and I'd like to see more from him. I'm a big fan of him. The Marcell Ozuna injury is one in question. The St. Louis outfield hasn't been that productive. Tyler O'Neill is tearing it up at Louisville. That's the guy you got to go pick up. Just on speculation.
Unholy Toledo said that these Cubs injuries to their starters means maybe they'll take a run at Matt Boyd.
I could see them. I could see them making a trade. They don't have the kind of depth in their minor league to like just get anybody they want anymore. It's like it's going to be more pick and choose. But the truth is, they believe they're going to make the playoffs, and these guys should be healthy by that point in time. They're not going to sell the world out to get it. They can get Matt Boyd cheap. I'd love it. He's been good this year.
Also saw the Yankees in the mix for Matt Boyd, according to some rumors as of late. As if they, it's going to be a basketball score every other game with the Yankees at this point, with the lineup that they have. Do you even need pitching at this point?
You know that last night at the Colorado game, it was the 6th consecutive game that both teams scored 8 runs or more.
Jeez,
there's something
that was going to be your introduction for this week. I was going to be like, all right, and Doug Boyle determines who had a worse week: the Astros for losing to the Pirates back to back by double digits, or Joe Biden. But there you go. That was your intro.
Let's move on to.
We got it 21 minutes too late.
Let's move on to rehabs.
Adalberto Mondesi, Trevor Story, and Steven Dugar begin today. Isn't that the guy who did that that show on the History Channel about having a family of 18?
Yeah, he was one of the kids.
Oh, wow! Is that long ago? Jeez.
No relation whatsoever. Actually, probably related because Duggar is his name, but they're not closely related.
Caleb Smith in Double-A Jacksonville on Saturday. Domingo German with a rehab at Scranton Wilkes Bar. Alex Wood in Louisville for the Reds. Denelson Lamet could be back this week. And Sean Manaea, he who no-hit the Red Sox last year, set back with a soreness in his left oblique.
Lamet looked good in his last outing. He had 7 Ks in 5 innings pitched, did let up a couple of runs. But he only got 30 days to get down there, so he can only make one more rehab start. He should be back this week. He can't be back any later than next weekend, or else they're going to have to send him to the minors. Domingo German didn't look that great, let up 4 runs in his one start. Caleb Smith was a mixed bag. He let up 2 runs in 4 innings, but he did strike out 11. 4 innings, you can only strike out 12 people. It's pretty impressive. It's me. I also wanted to mention that Jerry's Familia is starting a rehab stint, and DJ Stewart, the outfield from Baltimore. Well done. Well to pause to let me catch up. That's great.
All right.
It's a good thing this was completely unscripted.
And your activations, Sunday, Noah Syndergaard will be returning for the Mets. And today should see the return for Jordan Lyles for the Pirates.
Jordan Lyles has been surprisingly good this year. He went on the thing with a 3.64 ERA and about a strikeout per inning. So he's somebody that normally we wouldn't talk about, but he's important coming back today.
Mike Clevenger for the Indians should be returning shortly.
These guys have returned. These guys have already returned.
I've already returned. George Springer for the Astros and Joey Gallo for the Rangers, because we will return no outfielders before their time.
These guys are good enough that I don't need to say much about
them. Second baseman Scooter Gennett for the Reds, Andrelton Simmons for the Angels, Yandy Diaz for the Rays, and Jake Lamb for the Diamondbacks also returning.
Jake Lamb's a guy that a lot of people in fantasy like. I've never really thought he was that good. He's just one of those guys that hits home runs and doesn't do much else in that Travis Shaw category. I checked to see if he displaced anybody because he plays first and third. It seems like to get him in the lineup, they gave Christian Walker the day off one day, and Eduardo Escobar the day off the other day. But those guys are too good to get out. I think everybody's going to be hurt a little bit. The Simmons return will probably not bring Gifo back to the minors, and the Scooter Gennett return makes me worry a little bit about Derek Dietrich and his stupendous year.
Jorge Alfaro, the catcher for the Marlins, also returning. Justin Smoke, the first baseman for the Blue Jays. Ryan Zimmerman for the Nats. Neil Walker for the Marlins. And the original Chief Justice himself, John Jay, returning for the White Sox.
The original Chief Justice and close friend of Manny Machado. John Jay is going to get playing time in Chicago. He's a halfway decent player. I know a lot of people think that it was kind of a joke from the start, but when they signed him, they didn't know that Eloy was coming up and these other things. He was probably their best outfielder. He's okay. He's going to hit you around 300. They haven't batting sixth. With Justin Smoke's return, actually, they put Rowdy Tellez on the bench on Friday, so that might have a little bit of an impact there. And Ryan Zimmerman's return will definitely curtail some of Matt Adams' at-bats in Washington.
Also returning starting pitchers, John Means for the Orioles, Trevor Cahill for the Angels, and Colin McHugh for the Astros.
John Means has been a lone bright spot for the Baltimore Orioles. It's one of those things where if he's coming off DL, you're activating in fantasy. 2.67 ERA. I know people that follow FIPS say his FIPS around 4, but I don't think it's that different. But he got a 2-mile-an-hour bump on his fastball this year, which has made his changeup not just a good pitch, but an excellent pitch. He's got one of the better changeups in the game.
Jose Alvarado, the relief pitcher for the Rays, Stephen Wright for the Red Sox, and Asdrubal Cabrera for the Rangers, all reinstated.
Jose Alvarado was reinstated for not coming back in time from a family leave. Stephen Wright's the one that hit his wife or something. Asdrubal Cabrera was for an on-field incident.
So I saw that the last time that Baltimore played Seattle, they lost last week 13-3. So with their ace coming back, would you say that their loss to the M's justified the means?
Very good.
I'm going to do horrible puns for the rest of the show. You're welcome.
Horrible puns are no. I like that, Jeremy Bentham. No.
Your call-ups. Brendan McKay, Ross Detweiler coming in for the White Sox, McKay coming in for the Rays, of course. Hey, it's a familiar name. Kate Craig, what's his name? The guy that closed for the Red Sox last year, Kimbrel. Yep. Now on the Cubs because he wants to do what only John Lester and David Ross have been able to accomplish, and that's win World Series rings for both of the most snake-bitten franchises in the league.
I wonder if somebody did it back in 1918. I wouldn't know.
Maybe.
I wouldn't know. Brendan McKay was putting up ridiculous numbers, 88 Ks, 6 innings. I'm sure he's already picked up somewhere. He's going to be the first player to play the field and pitch. He's a first baseman. I know you say Ohtani's already done it, but what Ohtani does is he pitches and he bats for the pitcher, and every starter in the National League does that already. You know, this guy might actually play the field. Ross Detweiler pitched pretty well in his first start there. So maybe he'll be the fifth starter in Chicago.
An interesting note here. I mean, we have Fernando Rodney getting called up, and he got cut by the A's earlier this year, and Washington picked him up. He actually got the save last night for Washington.
Really, I didn't catch that.
Yeah,
was it a day off for Doolittle or something worse? We'll have to look into that more if you don't know.
Yeah, I'm not certain. I just was looking at the box scores, and I'm like, Rodney got a save. What?
Or was it extra? Maybe it was an extra inning game. Have to check that out.
How do you know that it's a regular season game?
Did I say
Fernando Rodney got the save.
There you go.
I'm going to be mean on this, but yeah, I just have to. When I saw that Rodney was going over to the Nationals, I was like, okay, so they're saying, okay, we know that this year is enough of a dumpster fire that we're perfectly cool with just making it into maybe the wild card game or the NLDS, and then have our bullpen absolutely get stomped.
I thought with them signing for Rodney and Venners that this would be a really excellent bullpen in 2015.
Yeah.
There you go.